Yeah.
Scared George away.
We're live, okay. All right, folks, people are checking in right now. I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes, and then we'll get started on episode 5 of our 2019 Facebook Live series here from Daddy's Pizza in Claremont, New Hampshire, 50 Pleasant Street. Again, we'd like to thank Pat, Ellen, and Ashley, and everyone else here at Daddy's Pizza for hosting us for our 3rd year, which is pretty amazing that we've kept the show, first of all, for 3 years running. So be sure to like and share this video and get as many people watching as we get amped up about the 2019 race season that kicks off at Claremont Motorsports Park on May 3rd. Let's wait for a couple more people and we'll get started. And we lost 4.
They're all leaving.
I didn't mean to click on that.
They're like, where's Powers? I'm out of here. He's got something going on today. All right, we might as well get started. Folks, thank you for joining us again for episode 5 for 2019 Facebook Live series here from Daddy's Pizza. Tonight we're going to talk 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders, which is pretty exciting. The 6-cylinder class, the 6-shooters, will be joining the weekly racing series at Claremont Motorsports Park. But we're going to talk about pure stocks as well. And to my left, we have Jim Carley. Jim, thanks for joining us. Driver of the number 92 pure stock. To his left, last year's Rookie of the Year, 2nd place in points in the 667, as I like to call it, 671, but he's 67 with a small one. Kyle Templeton from Claremont. And then we have, back in the ranks of driving, he used to drive a street stock, now he's back this year doing a 6-shooter, Jeremy Blood. Thank you guys for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So, how's your off-season been, Jim?
Interested. I've been dealing with the rule changes and stuff like that, and trying to find out what I can and can't do. So it looks like the Neon will be coming back for a short time, and then I'm going to build another car and come back and try to get around him.
What about you, Kyle? How's your off-season been?
So it's been fun. Just getting another car going. Got a nice clean car, not rotted, so at least I won't be twisting in the corners or anything this year. But other than that, it's getting there. It's almost done. I think another week or so, definitely done.
And you'll be ready to go then?
Oh yeah, I'll be ready.
All right. How about Jeremy? What about you? I know you picked up a car and you've been going through it and getting back into the racing thing.
Yep, so a friend of mine actually, they inherited a car that they gave me in 2004 Impala. I was working on that. It's kind of a long story. That's not going to be ready, so I bought another one. So we'll have the new one to be out there, and eventually sometime this year I'll have, I should have both cars going. I'll try to have somebody else try to get them both going.
So, let's talk about you. You've been out of the ranks now for, what did you say, 9 years?
9.5.
And
3,470 days.
so, I mean, I know you've been going to the track quite a bit. Why did you want to get back into racing?
Well, I never wanted to get out of it, really. I mean, I love racing. It's just, when I had the street stock, I was just telling Jim, when I bought that car, I had never even worked on a car. I'd never been to the pits before. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, that was like fun, and I'm going to go buy this car. So I was in a little over my head, those 2 years. I never really ran up front, but I just had fun with it. I think with these new cars, everybody should be competitive in the 6-shooters. Every car should be a good running car. So it's a cheap class, and the time was right for me. And I wanted to get back. into driving.
And Kyle, for you, last year was your rookie season. You'd helped out Nick Little before quite a bit with the 4-cylinder stuff. And then what possessed you to decide to get behind the wheel of a car? I mean, last year you had 4 wins. You finished, 2nd in points. If you had run those other 2 weeks that you missed with, I think it was 1 or 2 weeks you missed with engine trouble or car wasn't quite ready, you probably would have given Zach a little bit of a run for his money. But what possessed you to start to want to drive a car?
So, just my family in general. I mean, I have my grandfather, my great uncle, My Uncle Rob, my Uncle Corey, Stephen Bly, you know, all of them. And I grew up watching it, just always having fun doing that, you know. So then I got into working on Hondas and Civics and all that stuff. So when I started building another Civic I had just for a street car, and then I started helping Nick Little out. And that's when I really got involved in the whole racing thing, because I was really never in the pit before with Nick or anything. And then once Nick started racing and stuff, I was more involved in it and helped him a lot. And it just made me just want to try it, just do it once, you know. And then I went out. I didn't think I was going to do good at all, like at all last year when I first started. I mean, I think the first race I did, I was 7th place, and I was so happy. And like, I didn't know, like, and then, yeah, the following week I got 4th. And then the 3rd week, I blew 2 motors in a row. So that was really, really aggressive. So,
Yeah, that changed your plans a little bit. You know, always wondered how you were going to do it. You know, the backup motors, wherever you got them from, I don't know if they're illegal, but they were still good.
you can ask Cody Sabins.
Oh, that may not be the best source. No offense, Cody. Just kidding.
But no, so it was just mainly family and helping Nick out. It just got me more involved and really wanted to do it. And so I did it, and I did pretty well. So I'm gonna continue to do it and see what next year brings.
Awesome, Jim. You know, you've been racing. Did you race figure eights as well? All right. So talk a little about your racing experience and why you continue to race the pier stocks.
I started with a junk 67 Dodge Dart that was my grandfather's that had to go to the scrap pile, and at that time you had to pay to get rid of it. So we decided to take it down to Monadnock Speedway and run it in an Enduro.
What year was this?
85, 86.
Wow. 89.
Yeah.
And that started it. Then we took it to a demo at Claremont when they had a demo day. And then they came up with a figure 8 race, and then I said, hey, they found something stupid enough for me to do. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough of us idiots to keep doing it, and that died out. And that was the end of it. Actually, me and my father got a dirt car for a while, played with that. And a friend of mine, Jason Converse, built a car when they first brought up the 4-cylinder Wildcats, when it was flip a coin and run what direction they decided you were going to run. And he decided to get out of it for one reason or another. And he said, you can have the car. All right, so we finished building the Civic, and I went out and I had fun. And I raced 2 tracks, Claremont and Canaan at the time, and I'm just having fun. And I got out of it again. And then I got a hold of a couple neons and said, you know what, I'm going to do this again. And went back and did the neons, and that was fun. And then they started building them into race cars, and the Hondas had a whole lot of advantage. But I'm still having fun. My point is, I'm going to do this until it's not any fun anymore. Hasn't happened yet.
Awesome. You know, it's you know, for you last year, you raced, I think, every race of the season, I think you were there.
No, I missed 2.
Okay. And sometimes you get there late because of work.
Yeah.
But you were there. Mm-hmm. Talk about the night that you drove someone else's car. And that may have been the happiest I've ever seen you in my entire life. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, oh God, please pass tech. Please pass tech for Jim's sake.
Yeah, well, again, I'm driving a 95 Neon, so that's kind of hard to get parts for now.
Yeah.
So Jim Rhodes had just bought a car. And he said, I was talking to him, and we'd conversed a couple times. I said, yeah, no, I can't get the part today. Not going. He said, load my car. It had already run, it already passed safety. Whatever. Sounded like fun. It was a Honda, and it was a kid about his size, except half his height. So I squeezed myself into that car. First practice lap, I head out there, and I go to turn the wheel, and it's about 3 inches into my chest. So that was fun. We got that fixed. And then we went out for the feature. And I'm going. I started on the pole, and I'm going, wow, this is going really good. And I'm about 3/4 of the way through the race, and I'm going, this ain't good. I ain't felt any pressure from Zach Lynn yet. Or this gentleman over here. And I'm going, you know what? Enjoy it. Have fun. It is fun. Got the tech. They said, no, it don't pass. I didn't jump up and down and say nasty words. I just had fun. I had fun down there at the interview with you, and that is what racing is to me. If it ain't fun, don't do it. And trust me, people, you can have a lot of fun doing this. Because he's a good guy to race with. He's a good guy to race with. Like I was telling him, there's a lot of people out there that'll bend your fender up when you're out there on the track, but as soon as you pull in, they'll be the first one out helping you straighten your fender out.
Yep.
And that's what it's about to me.
Yep. You know, and Kyle, we'll talk about your first win. I mean, you were pretty excited for that too. I mean, I don't know if you ever thought you were going to be down there, given your rookie season. Talk about your first win and what your mom and dad were down there all excited and everything else, and your girlfriend. It was pretty special.
Yeah, so I really didn't even think I would even podium last year at all. Like from the previous seasons, you know, you had Cody, you had Zach, you had really good racers and stuff, really good cars. So I didn't think I was going to be even top 5. So when I got that first win, I was super excited. Like, I didn't think I would ever be able to do that, you know. And then just to hold that checkered in that car going around the track, I mean, my heart was pumping so fast. You know, I was so excited. I mean, obviously my parents were super excited. Girlfriend, everybody with him, you know. It was a long winter.
It was an exciting year for you too, because you had the birth of your daughter right around the same time you were racing. So you had to sort of, you know, tell Alyssa, make sure, hey, don't have her. You know, I got to make sure I'm racing.
She made me more nervous.
Right there.
She made me more nervous every week at the track because I knew she had said what the date was, and it was during race season. And every week she's showing up, and I'm going, don't do it this week. No, not now.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle was running pretty well at that point in time. He didn't want him to lose any points. So you had to make sure you had to wait. You have to wait for him to get done. Folks, send your questions and stuff into for Jeremy, Kyle, and Jim, and they'll have you do their best to answer them. Kyle Markshoot wants to know who's your favorite racing uncle. No pressure here.
I gotta store my car at Uncle Corey's house, so I'm gonna say Uncle Corey. But Uncle Rob has helped me a lot, so I don't know which one really. They're both my favorite.
Who bought your race car?
Oh, here it goes now.
All right. They bought my race car, so
I guess Robin's probably your favorite then.
yeah, we'll go with Rob.
All right. Because Corey's not watching right now, according to this, so you're covered.
Oh, perfect.
Although Cody Saban's just chimed in, thank God. Someone must have told him, hey, Toby's talking smack about you. Cody, I wasn't talking that bad about you. Shouldn't even watch the replay. Jeremy, so you raced street stocks before. I mean, what did you learn your first, how many years did you race street stocks?
2. 2007, 2009.
And what did you learn from that experience?
I mean, I didn't know anything about racing at all as far as how to set up the cars. Like everything, as far as that aspect goes, I learned how to do everything. I learned to just appreciate being in the car. It didn't take. It was probably a couple races before I realized I'm never going to win. But you know, I just want to go out every week, have fun. I just enjoyed being in the car. Even if it was practice, track ride, I'm like, oh, they'll let me go run my car for a little while, drive the track. So. Not that I don't want to win, but it's not everything. I just want to go have fun.
Do you like the atmosphere in the pits? I mean, do you like the camaraderie Jim talked about earlier? In the street stock division, especially, at least last year, a little competitive too, but I think they'd help each other out. I mean, is that what you look for a lot?
Yeah, that means a lot. I don't come from a racing family, and like I said before, I'd never been in the pits until I showed up in the car, so I had no crew. I didn't know anything, and I was telling Jim one night I blew the rear end out of my car, and I didn't really know how to fix it. I don't have the parts or anything, so I loaded it up on the trailer, and Mike Burke comes over. He's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I blew the rear end." He goes, "Take the car off the trailer," and He didn't even ask. He just starts fixing it. And I'm like, can I help you? Is there anything I can do to help? He's like, no, I want to get your car up there. We'll get it fixed. That's what it's all about. I didn't ask for help. He just came over. You know, there's a lot of people that do that. They'll beat your fender off to get by you, but they want you out there on the track.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I think I saw when I started at the Motorsports Park was the fact that the camaraderie, and they want to have as many cars out there to race against, regardless of who you were. So if you're one of the top competitors and an issue happened to your car, they still want to get you out there so they can race against you, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think that's going to be even the pure stock class last year. I mean, there's a couple guys that had some issues, and they still try to help each other out to get them out on the track. Bruce Adams wants to know if your car's ready.
Leon's ready to beat that Chevy, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bruce Adams is going to be a rookie competitor in the 26 New Hampshire this year. This ought to be pretty good. I mean, this, Cody Sabins throws out the first flare. Hope everyone's ready for his new car this year. What do you guys think about? I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, who do you fear coming back? I mean, Zach Lynn, do you think he's going to come back? He's not. I was going to ask him when he was across the street from me, but I didn't bother. But I mean, who do you guys fear? I guess, who are you worried about competition-wise? I know that we're a little early. We don't know how many cars are actually racing or who's racing it for pure stocks. But given the new NHS TRA, there could be a lot of cars that bounce back and forth between tracks.
Yeah, this gentleman right here is going to be a challenge. There is no doubt about it. He learned a lot last year, real quick. And he's really good at what he does. Bruce, by the end of the year, Bruce Adams, I wouldn't doubt, once he gets some seat time, he will be. I did see the 26.
Seth Melcher's back, yep.
He's going to be back. He learned a lot last year. He got really good and really smooth.
Towards the end of the year.
Towards the end of the year, he got really good and really smooth. Sometimes you got to learn that the throttle isn't always what makes you go faster. And the wall is what makes you go slower, or other cars. Hopefully by the end of the year, and with the new rules, who knows? Maybe my Neon will be competitive.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah, it very well could.
Because I just did not have the gearing to keep up with the transmission that the Honda guys could use. There was no way around it. I tried tire sizes. I tried everything I could try. I had two transmissions to choose from. You probably guys had what, 10? Choose from?
I had one.
Yeah, you had one, but you had like 10 you could choose from to fit with your car, what you wanted to do with your car.
So you got two, really, like the shorter gearing ones. You only got two to choose from.
Two.
One of them is better than the other.
No, I have three. I actually do have three transmissions to choose from, but they won't let me run it because it's Posilo.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah. So if they would let me have that third transmission, I'd have a whole lot of advantage. But all I know is Bruce, him, and me that are coming back this year. So if there's anybody on Facebook that knows they're building a car, come on down. And if you want to do this, it is fun. It is cheap, a lot cheaper than it was last year to build a car. Build a car, come down. He'll help you. I'll help you. There'll be a whole bunch of people there. You building a car?
That one.
All right. What are you building? Cavalier? I'm sorry about your Chevrolet. But yeah, and Kenny's got plenty of knowledge to get you around the track. I have no doubt about that. It'll be good to have people coming up and racing.
Mikhail, what about you? I mean, for you, you went head to head with the 33 last year, and like I said, if you had a couple more weeks, I think it would have been a little bit of a closer battle. I mean, what are you looking at this year?
So I definitely think with the rule changes, it slows me down like a whole bunch, like to the point where I'm gonna step on that throttle and it's not gonna go anywhere. Like that's how the feeling of what it's gonna be. But for anybody that's coming back, I think honestly it's probably Cody because of the amount of experience he has and how many times he's raced and all that stuff.
Smooth.
So yeah, and he's
Smooth. He's smooth.
So with Zach not coming back, hopefully, but no, if Zach did come back, he definitely would be a hard one to get around and stuff. But So I think really my biggest competitor would be Cody if he's going to run full time, and then obviously with Jim here, because there's been a few times I'm coming around the corner and I can't get around him. It takes me a little bit, and I have to dive into that corner. So that's the only way I got around most of the people, diving right in, just hoping for it.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Chris Carver says, "Hey Jim, you had no problem keeping up with my Honda, LOL."
I was just making him. I was making him feel good for a day.
Jeremy, what are your expectations coming in with the 6-shooters? I mean, it's an unknown. We don't really know. We actually don't even know who's going to register, how many cars we're going to have. All I know you and I talked about before we went on the show was we saw the 6-shooters class at Star Speedway, and they put on one hell of a show.
Yeah, that's all I know. It's going to be awesome. I mean, once we get some cars, yeah, they put on a really good show over there. I don't really know who's out there building them, or I don't really know what to expect as far as that goes. But I think it'll take off once I get done. It's pretty much stock. You can't really do anything to it. There's a lot of those donor cars out there. I see them on Marketplace for $200 to $500. Impalas, Pontiacs, Buicks, whatever. You just grab something out of the parking lot here, take the plates off it.
You can probably pick up a car, one of the parking lots here in Claremont that's probably just left there anyway.
Yeah.
Just take it. So I know that Blair Auto Salvage, I think, has a bunch of 6-cylinders right now. You can go down and purchase from them too if you're interested in getting the 6-cylinder class. Because folks, it's basically, we were saying, you basically mash the throttle and turn left when you get to the corner.
Yeah, you just kind of turn in, hope and pray that you make it through. It's tires are squealing, they're bouncing off each other. It's going to be great.
When you were younger and you used to follow racing. Yeah. Who did you guys enjoy? I mean, who were your idols, local track heroes, so to speak, that you used to follow?
Steve Bly was probably my favorite driver back in the day. When I was younger, I didn't get to the track a lot. I didn't come from a racing family, so it was like once a year we'd go to the track or something. So I didn't really know anybody. I just went and watched the cars. But when I started going regularly, Steve was just somebody I liked. Other than that, anybody.
What'd you like about his racing?
I don't know.
Well, he used to win. He won a couple of championships too.
He was a good driver. He was pretty modest. He's smooth and clean.
I have lunch with him at work almost every day, and he's not that modest. So I'm just kidding. He's not watching. That's why I can say that too.
I told him he should build a 6-cylinder, and he just said not enough cylinders for him.
I bet you he would do it. I think he would hop in a car if someone gave him the ride.
I got 2.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Steve. He just put it out to you. I'll talk to you about it tomorrow at work.
We'll see what happens. I got to finish them first.
That's right. Carl, what about you? Obviously, you're from a racing family. Grew up around it a little bit. I mean, who are your idols?
So when I was younger, just always watched my Uncle Robin Bly and Uncle Corey Bly and Stephen Bly, my cousin, so it was basically just them. I mean, other than that, let's see. It was Punky Karen when I was really young, watching him, and just always the big names,
Yep.
Pretty much who I rooted for.
And Jim, you raced against probably some big names too.
Yeah. No, I would have to say, if you were watching back when I was there, Kenny Thompson was a very good. Yeah, we just there. I didn't get there to Claremont, but we did watch there. Mark Blair was a nice one. Was really good. Punky Karen, the stuff he could do with a car was. I watched one pro stock race where he actually put it on the bank on 3 and 4, and then came back out and still passed cars. Yeah, I mean, the things he could do with a car were just crazy. Dwight Jarvis, Jerry Bly, Ted Brown. Now that may be way over some people's heads, but there was. I'll even go back really far to a guy who just had a lot of fun racing. And actually, probably better than I remember because he's further back. Pearl Dewey. Yeah. How about that name? That goes back a ways. Recently, you'd have to talk about. Excuse me. Anybody who watched fellows go, he can drive a the snot out of a car. Oh man, who's Bucky Demers, Rodney, all of them. I remember watching them every Saturday night, Friday nights. It's just, I remember a lot of years at Claremont Speedway, and I'm really glad that it's Mr. Ambrose that kept it going, and it's going to keep going where it is, because I'm racing for the Leclerc family. Stuart Leclerc, love the track, I love the track, and I hope a lot of generations continue to love the track, because it is a real family sport. I mean, you guys can't see right now, but there's family up there, there's family there, there's family everywhere.
Yep.
And it can, there's a lot of family memories that don't go nowhere.
You know, talk a little bit about Stuart Leclerc. I mean, I know last year you were pretty instrumental in helping get the memorial race going for him, and helped out quite a bit with that. What does it mean for you? I mean, you changed your number over to 92 in memory of him. So what does it mean to you to carry that number in you know, his memory? He was very, you know, he raced at Claremont, he was a pace car driver, did a number of things. The kids are up at the track. So what does it mean for you?
I didn't change my number, I was asked to, because we're a friend of families. I worked with Stuart for a lot of years, raced with Stuart, and they came up and asked me if I wanted to do this, and Miranda, I'm gonna have to go over the note here. Sorry, I'm terrible with names, but Miranda Patterson, Tilly Stacy, Sandy, and Alan Clare. Most of the time I have raced, my major sponsor was Coca-Cola of Northern New England, because that's my wallet, that's my job, that's where I get it. They stepped up and helped me a ton last year, place to work on the car, got me some sponsors, which I have never had, other than a couple family and friends saying, here, you need this, here, you need a tire. Blew a motor one from the friend, helped me with that, but they got me some sponsors, and I'm hoping to do them a lot more proud this year, because I am honored that they asked me to race some of these numbers. It was really a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I would agree. That was a special night. I know the family really appreciated it. I know, you know, you guys did too. So
Yeah.
appreciate you doing that for them. Kyle, I'm trying to think how do I word this.
See, getting hotter?
It's getting interesting.
Yeah.
No, if it came down the last lap of a race, and you had to dump somebody for the win, would you do it?
Hell yeah.
Who is it?
His mother says yes. Oh, that was Alyssa?
No, I'm here.
I think it honestly depends on who.
What about Jim? Would you dump Jim?
He
Yes, you would. If you would, you wouldn't dump me.
I wouldn't dump him.
You would move me up. You would move me up
the
the
group. That's about it.
Yeah. I've always said the last lap, last two corners, you better be faster than me, and not mirror driving.
Yeah.
Because if you're mirror driving, I'm going to bumper drive. If you're not, I am going to drive it in there deep. If it's for the win, I am going to drive it in there deep. Do I want to take you out? No. But yeah, last lap, last corner. If I've been all over your rear bumper, then yeah, I would expect nothing less. I don't want to be looking the other direction while the other 15 cars are coming racing by me. But if you move me up a lane, because I've been holding you up and you're quicker, he's quicker. Yeah.
We was last year.
Yeah. I would not like it, but I wouldn't have a problem with it.
You would understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the NHSTR. Oh, go ahead, Jeremy. Did you say
I'm
something?
gonna say you'd understand it later.
Yeah, later. Not maybe at that very moment. Not Victory Lane down there on the podium. That may be a little bit of a different story, but did NHSTRA for you guys impacts the pier stocks, as we said, because basically every track runs them. Not this year, but probably next year. They're talking about doing some sort of, you know, shared series. So I don't want to call it series, like a Battle of Adults series somewhere. So with that, you're able to go to the other 4 tracks other than Claremont. Do you have intentions in both divisions to go to either any of the other tracks this year?
I've never raced at Hudson. I've raced at Lee, never raced at Star, raced at Monadnock. Hudson would be fun. Hudson, I hope you say what is going to happen. I would love to try that type of deal. That'll be fun. I remember, like I said, I raced at 2 tracks one year, and it was fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun. So if they give us the night off in Claremont, and they say they got a battle of the belt or whatever it's called down at Hudson, I'll drive there
Well, what about
all day long.
What about this year? Hudson's on a Sunday.
Oh yeah.
So you should make a trip down. You all should go down there.
I am already planning on it.
All right, good.
Planning on a Hudson and maybe Resort, Monadnock, and the other track that races on Saturday. It'll be fun. If the car comes out of there unscratched, why not? You got all week to fix it after that.
Exactly. What about you, Cloud? What are your plans? Are you gonna try some other tracks this year?
So I definitely want to try Monadnock. I'll do that maybe once or twice this year. And do the Oktoberfest. Definitely a thing I was going to do this year.
Good.
So last year I did it because I started already running the car apart.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say, because you got all winter to work on it.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure. I was already like anticipating getting another car, so I was like, I gotta strip this one and get this done. And I kind of forgot about Oktoberfest until it was about to happen. Like, oh, I should have just not done that. But yeah, just definitely Monadnock. I know I for sure will be doing that. And Lee, yeah. And maybe we'll try Hudson. Maybe we'll see how Monadnock and Lee go. We'll see. But definitely Monadnock.
What about you, Jeremy?
Yes.
Any and all of the above?
Yeah, when I had the street stock before, I couldn't go anywhere with it. It was, not without a little bit of work, but I'm still a race fan, so I go to Star anyway to watch some races. If I'm going, I might as well bring the car. And probably maybe the street stock nationals or something, so I want to go watch. I plan on being a Star probably once. Maybe I'll try Hudson. Not with any regularity. I can't afford that with kids and stuff, but I'd like to get to Star once and Hudson once. That'd be fun.
I mean, let's talk about the rule changes. That impacted obviously the two of you the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy's out. Just because.
They didn't change his rules.
Yeah, exactly. They had rules at that point in time, but they, for you guys, you'd run a certain way, and all of a sudden they just dropped these on you and said, "Okay, you can't do this, can't do that anymore." What was? I know you were a little upset about it when it first happened, but how do you feel about it now that you've had a chance to look at them all?
I'll let you go first.
That's why I was looking at Carl when I said it.
Yeah, you're the one who heard it.
All right. So the transmission issue, that's what really bothered me, because you have all these other cars that stock transmissions, and they're going to be the right year. Where for the Integra, the transmission I had was V16 last year, and that came in Integra, whatever SI, Civic SI. But we're allowed to interchange transmissions, so I had the best transmission you could possibly get for Integra. That's why my car was so fast, and so it wasn't hitting Hayden's there, his car, and Zach, he had just the RSX, which was an extra 20, 30 horsepower than me.
Yep.
So, but he had handling issues, and he worked through it, So there's always that battle right there. But now that, as long as everybody plays by the rules, we're gonna have the stock transmissions. Now, if you have a GSR, if you're a Tiger GSR, now you have a GSR transmission, you have the VTEC, so they're gonna be on the front. Where my car, I'm gonna be in the back, just because they're gonna be way more powerful. It's like Alex Boyzon had that yellow car.
Yeah.
That's way yeah. So he was always up front because of that issue. He had a better motor and all that. So there's still little issues I think with that, but yeah, I talk too much. So anyways, with the tire, not allowed to shave tires and stuff, that's gonna hurt us a little bit. We're just running on a cord tire,
Yeah.
So that's gonna hurt. The stock springs. We are allowed one rubber in each one, but that's still not enough. Those cars are gonna feel like boats. They're gonna sway all over the place. Other than that, I definitely think it's gonna be a lot more with everybody running the same speed, running the same space. I mean, it's all about how you can get your car to handle now.
Yep.
So. definitely looking fun for that. So we'll see what happens.
What about you, Jim? What were your first impressions of the rule changes?
My first impressions, I loved it.
Helps you.
No, it helps you out, but that weren't the reason. He mentioned Lee Oktoberfest. I used to go down there for the last 5 or 6 years, and it wasn't even thinking of winning because there was cars.
Yeah.
Like he said, he'd get the best transmission in a Honda and all that. But I would race 37 cars instead of 10.
Yeah.
And if you want to have fun racing, wait till you try, even with your car that's not going to handle as good as you like it and all that, wait till you race with 37 cars. Because that is flat out fun.
So I never started in the rear of the pack at all last year. It really upset me because I really wanted to just go right through. I should have just been like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the back. But yeah,
You had that option.
I did. I never took it though. I couldn't take it.
If these rules do what I hope it does, because what do you think? $3,500 to build a competitive car last year.
So yeah, I had about 27 with some help.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
3,500. 1,500 to build a car this year.
Yeah, depending on if you're just gonna take a car right from the road and just strip it and just do whatever, then it's easily 1,500.
A whole lot cheaper. That's going to bring more cars. It has to, and that's what I want. I want to race for the win. It was fun to win that night, even though I got DQ'd. But I want to race against 20 cars. If I'm racing for 10th with 20 cars, I'm still having a good time. And again, I'll race until it ain't fun. It ain't happened yet. So I'm hoping that these rules bring in some cars, maybe bring in cars from other tracks. We can get up to 18 to 20 cars again. That's fun. That's what I'm.
Well, it's fun for the fans too. You know, it's fun for the fans to come watch. I know last year they were kind of towards the end of the year we lost a bunch of cars, at least the pure stock division, or at that time the Wildcats. I think you finished the year maybe with 10 cars in that last race. So it really wasn't all that, you know, like you said, you didn't have 18, 20 cars. But I think the NHSTRA is going to allow the ability to have more cars show up whenever they want. They just show up. I mean, before, you know, you guys used to come to Claremont, there used to be these little weird things because the rules were different from where they used to race. You know, and now I think it's going to be great. They just come in, they've already been inspected, they already know all the rules, and they just can just go race.
So another point to the rules, it's not just the cost either, it's the knowledge. Like what's the name talk about? You need this transmission, you need this. I'm like, somebody who doesn't know a lot and just wants to go racing, and they got to figure out like, oh, I need this car with this transmission, this engine, I gotta do this and that. Like that's hard to get into the sport if you don't even know like where you're starting. So hopefully you can just pick up a car and just go with it.
And the other thing that's going to help Claremont is their Redneck Enduros.
Yes.
That is going to be, if you build a car for a Redneck Enduro, you're almost halfway to becoming a pure stock. A little more cage, a little more seat. So if you get out there, think you want to try it, build a Redneck car. Yeah.
I'm out there second week.
I'm so excited.
Maybe.
To watch that.
Well, if the car's done.
But build a Redneck car, and then if you decide, ooh, I like this, buy a seat, buy the harness, put a few more bars in it. What exactly Bruce Adams has done. You're, like I said, almost halfway there to being able to race every week. So that Redneck Enduro, I hope they keep it, even if they only run it 3 times a year. I know there's people out there that want to see it more. I'm fine with that too. But it's going to, you need a class. Somebody can throw a car together for little to no money, get out on that track, and once you get the hook in, they'll be racing. How long have you raced, Kenny?
I started racing in 85.
Yeah. So, and once that hook's there, and the fun is there, and the family, there's, what do we got? I can't see behind you, but there's at least, oh, that's deep. There's three races there. So, I mean, it's family.
There's more.
Yeah, there's more.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, you could have done anything. You could have gone back to the street stocks because you had run before, but you chose a 6-cylinder.
I'd love to drive a street stock, but I've seen what those guys are building and the money they have in them, and again, I don't have that knowledge. I don't have the money. I don't, you know. So if not for this new class, and probably I could have done pure stock too. But if not for that, I wouldn't be racing. If street stock was the entry level class, I wouldn't even consider it.
Are you excited about Zoe coming to be able to watch you race?
Yeah, I hope she can. We got to figure out. It's tricky with the kids. It's gonna be a late night, but that'll be fun. She actually, I told her though. I said, "You're gonna be upset if you can't watch me come." And she goes, "Oh, I finally have my own big wheel, and now I'm not gonna be able to go." She bought her own. She was excited.
Did you? Oh, she's gonna bring you to the track on big wheel night?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
We'll make sure she's there.
That's awesome. Kyle, what does it mean for you? I mean, do you hope Delilah ends up racing eventually?
Oh yeah, she's gonna run go-karts eventually. So I'll probably end up stop racing and stuff and get her more involved in it if she wants to. Obviously.
There's been a lot of that happening. You know, I mean, King Ken, you know, Aaron raced go-karts, and Aaron's going to be joining us. We mentioned earlier with the pure stock class this year. A lot of that's at Brian Towns not racing this year, so he can focus on Brandon's racing efforts with go-karts. So it's pretty cool to see dads who used to race now bringing their sons and daughters up through racing. What about you, Jeremy? Do you think Zoe will end up racing?
Maybe. I don't know. She doesn't express a lot of interest in it, but it wouldn't surprise me if she wanted to. So, we'll see. I don't know if my wife is into that. I mentioned the go-karts, but I don't know. We'll see. If she wants to and we're able to when the time comes, I think that would be awesome.
Jim, do you ever have any thoughts of moving on beyond the 4 cylinders to a street stock or maybe a class beyond that?
I have thought about the 6 shooters, but after that, I'd do it. Unless somebody's got a whole lot of money. You got a whole lot of money, my brother?
No, I don't have a lot of money. That's why I'm still working at the track.
I would love to. I remember helping some guy working on a modified work. I showed up at racetracks and just walk through there. Great idea for anybody that thinks they want it. Pay the pit fee. Walk around. See you, Jeremy, the only guy at the car. You talk up and say, hey, I don't know a lot, but I can hold a flashlight, run a jack, or anything. But yeah, I would love to. I sat in a modified once. Wow. And it weren't running. Okay? I'm just telling you. Wow. But yeah, I basically do what I can do out of my pocket. Because that's how I race. And the group of guys I race with is another reason. It's kind of had to leave that. You get a family going there. And they're good guys. And you know if you drive in with a flat tire, Kenny's either there with a jack and an impact, Kyle's there with a jack and an impact. Somebody, for some reason, I have 2 pit crews this year, members. My uncle, my wife blew out her knee, so we've retired her. And my uncle Bill Carley and my father Steve Carley. And you know, they have lives, they don't always make it to the track. My uncles and father have made it almost every time. But every once in a while, I'm there by myself. You just don't get it. You know, that's what it is to me. So I enjoy what I'm doing. I'd love to move up, but that's 2 things: money and the fun I have doing it with the guys I'm doing it with.
Kyle, what about you? Are you going to move on beyond the 4 cylinders? Do you think, if time and money allow?
If time and money allow, then I think I will. We'll see how this year goes. If I get the championship, which I'm praying for, you know, then I'll move on.
Cody says no. I'm not just kidding. He didn't say that.
Oh no, I'll get Cody. I still have his tool, so he can get that back. But yeah, I'll go the 6 shooters there next year, depending on how I do this year, and we'll see. You know, it's pretty easy. You know, for the front wheel drives, I mean, I kind of know how to drive them.
Yeah.
So I think the rear wheel drive, obviously, I mean, that's, if you can drive one of them, and you can drive, you know, so. I can drive a front wheel drive car, but not a rear wheel drive yet, so I'll push into that.
What are you guys most worried? Anything you're worried about this year? I mean, Jeremy, you've been like out of the game for a little while. I mean, anything you're worried about as far as getting back behind the wheel?
I'm just worried about blowing up the car, wrecking it, or something that'll stop me from getting there the next week. Other than that, like, if I can get out there and finish the race, that's all I want to do. I just want to have fun. That's why I got two, so in case something happens.
Exactly. And you just, was that on a whim, that second car? Did you just see it posted and you're like, I'm going to go and pick that thing up just in case?
Yeah, and it was cheap. I don't really want to tell anybody what I paid for it, because I think I could sell it for more than that if I had to. You can't put a lot of money into them. I mean, like, they're just, you just strip it out, put a cage in it, and like put some camber in. I mean, there's not a lot you can put into them.
Well, talk about the other stuff you've learned this winter too, as far as working on the car. You know, did some welding stuff and everything else, just to become better at what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I took a welding course, and then I learned I'm a terrible welder. Yeah, I can stick stuff together. You know, yeah.
I mean, Kyle, what are you worried about? Are you worried about anything? I know you've got pretty ambitious plans that you want to win the championship. That's what you're going for. Would it be a disappointing season for you if you didn't, or like a win total? You had 4 wins last year. I mean, if you didn't get 4 wins this year, would that be disappointing to you?
So, I don't think it'd be disappointing. It'd definitely be like, all right, I need faster. You know, I need to push myself more. But there's been a few times. I mean, when you podium like 14 runs in a row, you know, like,
Yeah, you were on fire there for a while. In fact, you had 4 wins, 15 top 3s, 16 top 5s, and 18 top 10s. And they only ran 20 weeks of the year. So I think you guys, the Pure Stocks, had a week off. So that's pretty darn amazing. Average finish of 2.89, which was the best in the division.
Yeah, so I definitely pushed myself a lot last year, but this year I don't think it's gonna I'm not gonna be bummed out or anything about if I don't win or if I don't podium every week anymore. It's definitely like with the rule changes, I just gotta try to keep that in mind. Like all these other cars, you're gonna find out, you know, it's bound to happen. So if I didn't already have the car I have now before the rules came out, I wouldn't have I already had it, so you gotta build it now.
What would you have run?
I do my homework and find the best gearing car there was.
Jim, what about you? I know you're in for the fun, so it probably doesn't matter to you at all, does it?
No, not a bit. Not worried about anything other than ruining somebody else's day, actually. That's honestly.
But you never did that last year. You're always were clean racer. You never got anybody. You ran your line and everything else.
No, even when the week I had that stupid fast car, I never ruffled anybody's feathers. I try not to, but I have. I've been going into turn 3 at Claremont. If you're running the right line, you leave a big opening on the inside. And if you're following them and you're just about the same speed, you say, I can get in there. No, you can't. Trust me, found that out. So that's my thing, is I want to just have fun. And I don't want to ruin his day or anybody that's running the championship or anything like that. I just want to go out and race against 25, 30 cars. Have a good time.
Excuse me. Well, there could be a good chance of that, actually. Talking about the Cody LaFont Twin 25s, Ken has been his family have been very active in getting lap sponsorship to increase the purse of that. And a lot of the other NHSTRA tracks are going to help try to recruit Pure Stocks for that. So that in itself could be your biggest car count this year.
Yeah, speaking of which, that's one of the times I was in Bonehead. I do remember that race. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm hoping for, is people come up, try that speedway, and have a good time and keep coming.
I think last year that was our biggest car count.
Yes.
It was last year.
And Dylan Boudreau is going to run it this year. Dylan Boudreau is running the 24C this year in memory of his friend. Ken's letting him drive with you guys. So that's
awesome.
That's pretty cool. And last year, Chris Riendo ran it with you guys. He actually led a couple of laps too at the beginning.
Yeah, he weren't too bad. It took me a couple laps to get around him. But I eventually got him.
And then, I think that's going to be a big race for the Pure Stocks. I'm looking forward to that one. The Six Shooters Extra Distance race is at the end of August, I believe. I can't remember. Yeah, there was a 6 shooters extra distance race. You know, personally myself, there's a lot of unknowns going into this year. You guys don't know, and it's weird. It was a weird year too with gossip, you know, off-season rumors and stuff. Who's building what and doing this and that? It was an interesting year, even with the sale of the track.
I should say,
With the sale of the track for one, which had been in the works, and then not knowing where the rules were going to lie, and then who's racing what, and, you know, moving up divisions and moving down divisions. I think the pure stock class, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried about it first, but I actually, the more time that's going on and hearing people that are gonna race and then, you know, possibly come up and race from Monadnock, I think we're gonna be okay in that class.
Yeah, I was definitely really worried about it. But I only know really only about 5, 6 maybe. Well, actually 6 with little man over there. So I'm definitely hoping for more. I'm sure there's definitely going to be more. But we'll see what happens. You know, as long as we get more than 10, I want to have more fun. You know, so get more than 10 people at least this year.
Yeah, because just, I mean, Dr. Gavin, I think he's planning on going to come back. Seth Melcher. You know, Chris Davis now, if he runs, let's say he runs, I don't know if he plans on running down the pure stocks down in Adnock, same rules, should be an impact here at Claremont, so that, you know, that should be the same too. There's obviously you, Mr. Carver's back. I think Raven Streeter's possibly going to a street stock, not confirmed.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, Courier's going to a 6-cylinder. You know, if Cody comes back, Ken LaFont's going to run a couple of races. So I think you're going to see some of these other people, you know, a lot of them now. I'm curious to see what that's going to happen, especially with the pure stock and the 6-cylinders. So, last thoughts, I guess. If you could race against someone past or present that you haven't raced with, who do you want to be? It could be, I mean, local or it could be national.
Quite honestly, I was at one of the figure eights when Kenny Schrader came to the track. And if you want to talk about somebody that just loves racing, and if you put a wheel on it and a motor on it, you had 2 of them and you offered him to race, he would race you. And it didn't matter how fast the motor was. I would love to race against that guy. He just fun. I talked to him. He was walking around the pits with his PR guys. You could pick them out real quick. Kenny Schrader, you couldn't even notice who he was other than anybody that was walking around that track. He was just a normal racer, period.
Awesome. How about you, Kyle?
So really, I think any one of my family members.
Would you have beat him?
I'll try. I'll definitely try. If they can drive front-wheel drive car, we'll find out.
They're not used to driving front-wheel drive cars, though,
I can't-
because they didn't have them back then when they ran.
That's why you asked earlier if you dump somebody.
Yes.
Well,
What about you, Jeremy?
And then there you go.
Well, I had all this time to think about the answer, and I don't really know. I kind of like the Ken Schrader answer. He's a racer's racer. Started thinking about other guys like the NASCAR role that are kind of like that. Somebody like Tony Stewart. Honestly, was never a fan back in the day, but I appreciate what he means to the sport now. I saw him at the Chili Bowl. He was on TV running a tractor or something. Just because he likes racing and he wanted to see what he had. I don't know. I just want to race anybody. I don't care who it is.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about. So, folks, we're going to close out here. I want to thank Jim, Kyle, and Jeremy for coming tonight for episode 5 of our 2009 Facebook Live series here from Daddy's Pizza. We are going to take next week off, but we're going to close out the following week, which is whatever that may be. Today's the 4th, 11th, 18th, and we're going to have Mike Parks, Andy Hall from the Grand State Pro Stock Series here to talk about the opening night, May 3rd at Claremont Motorsports Park. We're also going to have a couple of drivers as well from the series, we're hoping. So that's going to be April 18th, I believe, whatever that Thursday is. They'll be here starting at 6 o'clock. So again, thank you guys. Appreciate it very much. Pure Stocks and 6-shooters, folks, for those 2 divisions this year at Claremont Motorsports Park. You can continue to follow us on Facebook. The next couple of weeks, registrations are coming in. Looking for a ruling on the first practice, April 13th. don't really know. There's still a lot of water up there. There's still snow. That's right, I forgot to tell you. I went there today. There's still snow in turns 3 and 4. And it's going to be a couple of days, so if you had a contest entry, you're going to be waiting a little while longer. So if your bike is still in there, I'm not touching it either. I'm just going to leave it and let it melt. So
Bring your own trouble.
Well, yeah, stay off the track. Don't throw that snow off of there. And then we'll we'll announce the winner at the Granite State Pro Stock Series Facebook Live here at Daddy's Pizza. Again, thanks to Pat Allen, National League Daddy's Pizza. Folks, we'll see you here in 2 weeks.